In the modern world, where we're often bombarded with messages about love, relationships, and companionship, choosing to stay single can sometimes feel like a radical act. But if we step back and look at it from a Stoic perspective, staying single is not only a valid path, but one with its own profound benefits. Living independently offers unique opportunities to build inner strength, self-sufficiency, and resilience. It frees us from relying on someone else for our sense of worth and happiness, empowering us to craft a life that feels both purposeful and fulfilling. When we're single, we gain a kind of freedom that can be challenging to fully appreciate until we experience it. We are given time and space to explore our own character, identify our weaknesses, and build our strengths. Relationships can be beautiful, of course, but they can also serve as distractions from our own inner work. When we're constantly attuned to someone else's needs, desires, and preferences, we might overlook our own growth. This isn't selfishness, rather it's a process of refining our inner life, becoming more self-aware and disciplined, traits Stoicism holds in high regard. One of the key benefits of staying single is that we learn how to truly value our own company. The Stoics often spoke of the importance of self-sufficiency, finding peace and fulfillment within oneself, regardless of external circumstances. When we're single, we're essentially forced to confront ourselves, our thoughts, and our emotions without the buffer of a relationship to ease that introspection. This can be intimidating, but it is also incredibly empowering. By understanding ourselves deeply, we learn how to control our reactions to the world around us, finding stability and strength within that doesn't rely on another person. With this self-sufficiency, we also become more resilient. Without a relationship to serve as a foundation or crutch, we learn to manage our challenges independently. This doesn't mean that we shut ourselves off from help or companionship altogether, but it does mean that we don't become dependent on them. A single life encourages us to embrace obstacles as our own and empowers us to find solutions from within. This resilience is one of the core attributes that Stoicism celebrates, and staying single offers countless opportunities to cultivate it. A single life also allows us to focus on our values without distraction. Relationships can sometimes blur our priorities, leading us to compromise our values in the name of harmony or affection. But when we live on our own terms, we're able to devote our time and energy to pursuing our true passions and purpose. We can deepen our understanding of what matters most to us, whether it's a career, a creative pursuit, or a dedication to learning and self-improvement. This single-minded focus allows us to develop our potential to the fullest without the need to negotiate our path with another person's desires. It's a way to build a life that is in harmony with our deepest beliefs and values without the need for external validation. Staying single also invites us to experience a different kind of love, the love we show to others without expectation. In a relationship, there's often an implicit give and take, a balance that needs to be maintained. But when we're single, we're free to give and serve without these expectations. This could mean devoting time to family, friends, or even strangers. This form of altruistic love becomes an exercise in empathy and generosity. We learn to give without needing anything in return, which is one of the most liberating forms of love. It frees us from the cycle of emotional dependency, allowing us to experience relationships with others that are based purely on respect and kindness, rather than the need for reciprocation. There's also an undeniable simplicity that comes with staying single. Relationships, as rewarding as they can be, often bring with them a degree of complexity, shared schedules, decisions about the future, compromises, and even misunderstandings. A single life, in contrast, allows us to simplify our day-to-day existence. We can structure our lives around our needs and routines, creating a sense of order and tranquility that aligns with Stoic principles. This simplicity allows us to stay grounded and focused, making it easier to maintain a state of inner peace and clarity. Moreover, staying single grants us the opportunity to pursue our own path without the influence of another person's goals and dreams. While there's a beauty in shared ambitions, there's also a unique satisfaction in following a path that is solely your own. We can explore, experiment, and take risks without needing to consider the impact on a partner. This independence nurtures our sense of adventure and curiosity, encouraging us to discover who we are on our own terms. We become architects of our destiny, free to embrace the world's opportunities with a fearless heart. And then there is the benefit of time that is solely ours. Relationships, by their nature, require time and attention. When we're single, we have the luxury of deciding exactly how we spend each moment. This doesn't mean that we don't give our time to others, but it means that we are in complete control of when and how we do so. We can devote hours to learning, exploring, building new skills, and cultivating our talents. This time becomes an investment in our own growth, allowing us to evolve into the best version of ourselves. Staying single allows us to cultivate a sense of contentment that isn't dependent on external factors. When we don't have a partner to turn to for reassurance, we're challenged to find our own sources of happiness. This can be difficult at first, but over time it allows us to develop a deeper sense of gratitude and appreciation for life as it is. We learn to find joy in the present moment without yearning for someone else to complete it. This inner contentment is a powerful force, grounding us and freeing us from the need to constantly seek happiness outside ourselves. Through all these facets, a single life offers us a unique path to becoming resilient, self-sufficient, and deeply content. It's a life that encourages us to grow, to explore, and to truly understand who we are without external influences. In the end, staying single becomes not a choice born of necessity, but one of strength and wisdom, a path that aligns with the highest principles of Stoicism. Staying single also opens the door to solitude, a concept the Stoics valued deeply. Solitude isn't loneliness, rather, it's a deliberate and cherished state of being with oneself. In solitude, we are granted a space to think, reflect, and deeply understand our thoughts without interruption or influence. This quiet allows us to connect with our inner selves on a profound level, cultivating a sense of tranquility that many in relationships might struggle to attain. Solitude gives us time to look inward, to question our assumptions, and to shape our perspectives without the need to align with anyone else's worldview. This experience of solitude strengthens our emotional independence. When we're single, we learn to navigate the full spectrum of emotions: joy, sadness, excitement, and even disappointment on our own. We find ways to soothe our worries and encourage ourselves through challenges. This self-reliance builds our emotional resilience. We become adept at handling life's highs and lows, knowing that our happiness isn't dependent on someone else's presence. In time, we gain the confidence that no matter what comes our way, we have the internal resources to face it. This in itself is a tremendous freedom, for we no longer feel at the mercy of others' actions or reactions to sustain our emotional well-being. In staying single, we also find an unusual but deeply valuable kind of courage: the courage to embrace our vulnerabilities. Relationships often serve as a buffer, a place where we can turn for comfort or to escape the things about ourselves we might not fully accept. But when we're single, we're gently forced to face our own insecurities and imperfections. Rather than depending on another person to reassure us or hide these parts from the world, we have the chance to confront them openly. This process, though challenging, allows us to cultivate self-compassion and patience. We learn to accept ourselves fully, flaws and all, knowing that we don't need to be perfect to be whole. This journey of self-discovery leads us to a kind of personal clarity that is invaluable. As we spend time alone, we gain insight into what we truly want in life. This clarity allows us to make decisions with confidence, knowing they're rooted in our genuine desires rather than the influence of a partner's needs or preferences. We learn to recognize and appreciate the things that truly matter to us, and in doing so, we align our lives with our own authentic values. This kind of clarity and purpose is empowering, freeing us from the need to follow someone else's path or vision of happiness. In addition, staying single allows us to cultivate a network of diverse relationships. Without the focus on one primary romantic connection, we're free to build rich friendships, deepen bonds with family, and connect with people from various walks of life. These relationships often add layers to our lives, providing us with different perspectives and forms of support that a single romantic relationship may not. We learn to appreciate the value of community and the ways that friendships can bring fulfillment and meaning, reinforcing that meaningful connections aren't limited to romantic ones. Another benefit often overlooked is the ability to travel the world unencumbered. For those who have the opportunity to explore different places and cultures, staying single grants the freedom to go where we want, when we want, and how we want. We can move at our own pace, following our instincts and curiosities, without the need to compromise or coordinate with a partner's schedule or preferences. This form of exploration isn't limited to physical travel either. It extends to intellectual and spiritual pursuits. Whether it's picking up a new skill, diving into a fascinating book, or learning a new language, staying single allows us to pursue our interests wholeheartedly. In the same vein, staying single can be a powerful exercise in financial independence. Without the expenses that often come with relationships, such as shared living costs, gifts, or vacations, we gain greater control over our finances. We can allocate resources as we see fit, perhaps saving for a dream project, investing in our future, or even giving more to causes that matter to us. This financial freedom provides an added layer of security and autonomy, helping us to make decisions without the need to factor in another person's financial situation or goals. And perhaps one of the greatest gifts of staying single is the freedom to evolve at our own pace. In relationships, we sometimes feel pressure to grow or change in ways that align with our partner's expectations or lifestyle. When we're single, however, we're free to explore different paths, to reinvent ourselves as we please. We're not constrained by someone else's view of us, so we can continually redefine who we are and what we want without hesitation. This open path allows us to become the best version of ourselves, based solely on our own inner vision. Staying single, then, isn't about avoiding connection or shutting off from love. It's about choosing to prioritize our own growth, understanding, and freedom. It's about embracing the autonomy to explore life in a way that's true to us, nurturing an inner strength that becomes a lifelong companion. Through this journey, we come to understand that our worth and fulfillment aren't dependent on someone else's presence, but are born from the rich, inner resources we cultivate within ourselves. Remaining single invites us to dive deeply into the art of mindfulness and presence. Without the rush of managing a relationship, we have the time to truly savor the present moment. Often in relationships, life can feel like a continuous loop of planning and adjusting, navigating shared responsibilities and balancing desires. But when we're single, we're free to immerse ourselves fully in whatever experience is right in front of us. We can savor a quiet morning, a beautiful sunset, or a great book without the underlying tension of anticipation or compromise. This heightened mindfulness becomes a form of inner peace, one that anchors us in our lives without the need to seek contentment elsewhere. This single path also grants us a unique perspective on gratitude. Relationships, wonderful as they may be, sometimes create a dependency on shared experiences for happiness. When we're single, however, we learn to cultivate gratitude for life's simple pleasures. Small joys, like preparing a favorite meal, taking a peaceful walk, or mastering a new skill, take on new significance. We become more attuned to the beauty around us, which helps us appreciate our lives in their pure, unfiltered form. This gratitude is foundational to a joyful existence, enriching our lives without the need for external validation. It's a way of saying, "My life is enough as it is," a liberating realization that brings an immense sense of fulfillment. Being single is also an invitation to practice discipline, an essential Stoic virtue. Without a partner to share responsibilities with, we're responsible for creating and upholding our own routines and habits. This self-discipline might initially seem like a burden, but over time, it reveals itself as one of the most empowering forms of freedom. When we're solely responsible for our daily actions, we learn to build our lives around intentional choices. We cultivate habits that support our well-being, productivity, and growth. This personal accountability teaches us the art of commitment, not to another person, but to our own journey and the standards we set for ourselves. There's a profound lesson in patience that emerges from being single as well. Often, people enter relationships out of a need for companionship or a desire to escape loneliness, but being single teaches us to be comfortable with the present moment without feeling the urgency to fill it with someone else. It teaches us the patience to wait for what aligns with our true values rather than rushing into connections that don't. This patience is an invaluable skill, helping us to avoid impulsive decisions in all areas of life, from career choices to personal endeavors. When we learn to wait calmly and without restlessness, we cultivate a patience that deepens our sense of inner peace. Another hidden benefit of staying single is the opportunity for continuous self-reflection. In relationships, we may sometimes prioritize understanding another person's needs and desires over our own introspection. But when we're single, we have more time to question, analyze, and understand ourselves on a deeper level. We're able to ask, what really fulfills me? And what do I want my life to look like? This reflective practice sharpens our self-awareness, enabling us to align our actions with our values and aspirations. It's through this inner dialogue that we come to understand our true purpose, a discovery that empowers us to lead a life that feels meaningful and intentional. Staying single also allows us to embrace our autonomy in setting boundaries. Relationships, even the healthiest ones, require negotiation and compromise. But when we're single, we have the freedom to set clear boundaries around our time, energy, and space without the need to justify them. We learn to protect our peace and prioritize our needs, developing a profound respect for our own well-being. This autonomy in boundary setting strengthens our understanding of self-respect, reminding us that we alone are responsible for maintaining the quality of our lives. One of the most underestimated benefits of staying single is the way it strengthens our resilience against societal pressures. In many cultures, there's an expectation that being in a relationship is a marker of success or personal worth. By choosing to stay single, we're challenging that narrative, breaking free from the idea that we need a partner to be complete. This act of resistance fosters a profound independence from societal expectations. It teaches us to trust our own judgment and live in alignment with our values, regardless of external opinions. This resilience is invaluable in a world that often seeks to dictate our choices, encouraging us to prioritize personal integrity over conformity. Choosing to remain single also enhances our adaptability. We're free to make life choices without needing to factor in a partner's preferences or expectations. This flexibility allows us to seize new opportunities, move to new places, or reinvent ourselves whenever we feel called to do so. We become agile in navigating life's changes, knowing that we have the freedom to pivot without constraint. This adaptability reinforces our confidence in handling uncertainty, making us better equipped to embrace life's inevitable shifts with openness and optimism. Living single further nurtures our creativity. Without the distraction of a romantic relationship, we're able to channel more of our energy into creative pursuits and passions. Whether it's art, writing, music, or any form of self-expression, staying single provides the mental and emotional space to explore our talents fully. We can dedicate hours to a creative project or immerse ourselves in a new passion, experiencing the joy of creating without external expectations. This creative exploration becomes a source of personal satisfaction, enriching our lives in ways that extend beyond traditional measures of success or fulfillment. Staying single teaches us the value of self-love in its purest form. We learn to appreciate our own company, to accept ourselves without conditions, and to celebrate our individuality. This self-love isn't born from arrogance, but from a genuine appreciation for who we are. It's a recognition of our own worth and a celebration of our journey. By loving ourselves first, we lay the foundation for a life that is abundant, fulfilled, and complete. We discover that true happiness isn't found in the presence of another person, but in the depth of our own self-respect, gratitude, and peace. In embracing a single life, we come to see that this journey is not one of solitude, but of profound self-discovery. It's a path that invites us to understand, appreciate, and cultivate our inner resources. We find that everything we seek, strength, purpose, joy, and love, exists within us, waiting to be embraced. Remaining single further grants us a rare chance to master emotional freedom. When we're in a relationship, our mood and energy are often influenced by our partner's emotions and responses. But in a single life, we cultivate a kind of emotional independence that allows us to experience our own feelings without external interference. We become more attuned to our inner emotional landscape, learning to navigate emotions like joy, frustration, loneliness, or fulfillment on our own terms. This emotional sovereignty is empowering. It teaches us that we don't need anyone else to validate or influence our internal state. We are in control, and we can respond to life's events with a steady, balanced mindset. This emotional freedom becomes a foundation for enduring peace, a gift that few experience until they've spent time alone. Living independently also offers us a powerful sense of liberation from fear, specifically the fear of losing someone or being left alone. Many people enter relationships out of a subconscious fear of solitude or an unwillingness to face life without a companion. But by embracing a single life, we challenge that fear head-on. We learn that being alone is not something to fear, but something to celebrate. We face loneliness and realize it's a temporary, manageable feeling that doesn't define our worth or happiness. Over time, this dissolves our attachment to the idea that someone else must complete our lives. Instead, we discover an unshakable inner security, knowing we are capable of facing the world with or without a partner. This fearlessness allows us to approach life with a sense of boldness, unburdened by the anxiety of losing a relationship or the need for external reassurance. Being single also offers a unique opportunity to strengthen our intuition. Without the influence of another person's perspectives, desires, or dreams, we're free to develop and trust our inner voice. Relationships often involve compromise, which can sometimes dilute our connection with our own instincts as we try to align with another's. But when we live independently, we're solely responsible for our decisions. We can listen to that inner guidance without question, sharpening our intuition and growing more confident in our ability to navigate life's complexities on our own. This refined intuition becomes a compass, guiding us toward choices and experiences that genuinely resonate with us. Over time, it strengthens our trust in ourselves, helping us feel grounded and self-assured as we make decisions that align with our true desires. Staying single allows us to appreciate solitude not as a void, but as a space for profound self-renewal. Relationships, as fulfilling as they can be, sometimes limit the time we have for self-care and reflection. But in solitude, we find an oasis, a place to recharge, to breathe, to nurture our physical, emotional, and spiritual well-being without any obligation to others. We're free to create a lifestyle centered around practices that nourish us, whether it's meditation, exercise, journaling, or simply taking the time to relax and unwind. This routine of self-renewal becomes a source of inner vitality, helping us approach each day with clarity and calm. In this way, we build a foundation of well-being that's sustained by our own efforts rather than relying on a partner to fill this role. An often overlooked benefit of staying single is the development of a deep, meaningful relationship with the world itself. Without the focus on a single romantic partner, we're able to cultivate a broader love for life and humanity. We might find ourselves more engaged with our communities, passionate about causes, or eager to learn from people from all walks of life. This openness expands our capacity for empathy and understanding. We become more compassionate, more willing to listen, and more connected to the human experience in a way that extends beyond the personal boundaries of a relationship. This love for humanity and the world brings a new kind of joy, one that fills our lives with purpose and connection, allowing us to experience life's beauty in all its diversity and richness. Choosing to stay single also nurtures a sense of minimalism and intentionality in our lives. Relationships, while beautiful, can often lead to a lifestyle filled with shared possessions, commitments, and sometimes excess. But a single life encourages us to live simply, to focus on what we truly need rather than what we might acquire through partnership. This simplicity brings clarity. We begin to see what genuinely adds value to our lives and let go of the rest. It's an opportunity to declutter our minds and our environments, keeping only what serves our well-being and goals. This minimalist mindset isn't about living with less, but rather about embracing quality over quantity, cultivating a life filled with meaning, intention, and purpose. Staying single gives us a rare chance to learn the art of self-acceptance. In relationships, it's easy to fall into patterns of seeking approval or validation from a partner. But when we're single, we're faced with the task of accepting ourselves fully, without anyone else's judgment or reassurance. We learn to recognize and embrace our unique qualities, quirks, and even flaws, seeing them not as things to hide or change for someone else, but as parts of who we are. This self-acceptance fosters a profound inner peace, a quiet confidence that grows from knowing we don't need to change to be worthy of happiness and love. Through this journey, we realize that we're enough just as we are. A realization that brings freedom and contentment unmatched by any external approval. In every way, staying single becomes not a gap to be filled, but a profound journey of self-discovery, a chance to explore life's richness on our own terms. This path allows us to become resilient, fulfilled, and deeply at peace, knowing that all the love, strength, and wisdom we seek resides within us. Embracing the single life isn't about rejecting companionship, it's about finding fulfillment within ourselves first. By choosing to stay single, we unlock hidden strengths, discover a deeper sense of purpose, and cultivate resilience that guides us through life's many challenges. This journey teaches us that we are enough on our own and that true contentment comes from within. It's a reminder that our happiness, peace, and growth are in our hands, no matter who else might walk alongside us. If you found value in exploring the hidden benefits of staying single, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to stay connected with more insights on Stoicism and personal growth. Thank you for joining, and here's to embracing every chapter of life with intention and strength.